Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Emily. I love macrame thrifting and a good DIY project. Today I have a couple of DIY home decor projects for you. I love home decor and decorating, and I'm always trying to think of some fun, easy, inexpensive things to have around my home. And I was browsing Pinterest and came across some really fun things, and I wanted to make them for my home. So that is what we're going to do today. Before we jump into things, if you're not already, feel free to follow me on Instagram at EmilyFaith22. Let's start with project number one. First project we're going to make is a wood wall hanging. I've been seeing sort of like these shapes, I don't know how to describe it, shape hangings, like semicircle rectangles, like kind of put together in a hanging. And I came across like a bigger version on Pinterest. I will link that blog that I found down below. I'm making a slight variation of it. Let me show you the supplies and everything we're gonna do. For this project, you're going to need a wood circle and then a longer rectangular piece of wood and some copper wire. I actually got all three of these supplies at Micheals. I will try and find the exact ones and link them down below in the description box. That way the measurements will be so much easier for you guys. But yes, you can just go to like your hardware store and get this as well. So we are going to be cutting both the circle and this rectangle, and we're going to need to find the exact center of this circle because we're going to be cutting it in half. So my husband is just measuring, making sure he does it perfectly. So this rectangular piece is also getting cut in half, but cut in half lengthwise. So my husband is measuring that out as well. So I drew this up for you guys so you can see better, but the circle is getting cut directly in half and it's 14 inches across. And then this rectangular piece is also getting cut in half lengthwise. And then the one side of it is going to be cut into thirds, and each of those thirds were 8 inches. And then the other half will be, one side is going to be 14 inches, which is the same length as the circle. And then the other half, or the other little side, is going to be 8 inches with a little piece left over. My husband finished cutting everything. This is obviously the back side. So I'm going to go in with this like sander that we have and just smooth out some of the rough edges. Stefan also went in and drilled holes where the wire is going to go through. So each of those 8-inch pieces needs one right in the center, and that 14-inch piece actually needs 2 at the top that will attach to this half circle, and then it needs 4 along the bottom for each of the 8-inch pieces to attach to. Now that everything is sanded, we are going to take this amber copper wire and we are going to connect all of our pieces. Take some wire, tie it on. We also accidentally messed up on a few of our hole measurements and placements, so my husband had to go back in with some wood filler and just fill them in. But honestly, wood filler, since we didn't stain anything, it's like the exact color and it wasn't an issue, thank goodness. And then after you filled it, you just kind of go in and sand it up again, and honestly you can't even see it. But you know, no DIY project is without some mistakes. To hang this wall hanging, we made one little hole at the top and used the same wire to string it through, created a loop, and that was it. For project number 2, we have this corner in our house. We have lots of overhead lights, but when we turn on the overhead lights in the evening, it's so bright and this one corner always feels so dark. So it's the perfect spot for a lamp, but we could never really find a lamp we like. I wanted to do an exposed bulb with a hanging cord. And again, I found the cutest image on Pinterest. I'll link that down below. And I had to make it. For supplies, you're going to need a light cord and some wooden rings. You can get some wooden rings on Amazon, and you're also going to need a light bulb, which I forgot to mention. So this project actually turned out to be kind of a fail for me, and that was for one simple reason, is that my light cord, like that bottom part, my rings were too small to actually fit around it. On this blog post that I saw, they did fit, so I'm wondering if there's some smaller ones that do fit on that light part, or we can buy bigger rings. I was actually looking, and you can get some bigger wooden rings on Amazon, and I might actually redo this project a separate time with bigger rings just so that it's perfect. But I wanted to show you guys anyways what I did, even with this bit of a fail that it turned out to be. Because my rings wouldn't fit, I actually Googled how to soften wood, and it said you can boil it, so that is what I did. I boiled these rings. And then because they were softer, we were able to squish them onto this light base. However, 2 of them fully cracked, which was so upsetting. So I ended up hot gluing everything in place. And actually, it's best that you hot glue the rings together anyways. If you do this and they all fit, you should glue everything together. But I tried to kind of fill these cracks with hot glue because we are going to paint them this sort of peachy cream color. You actually should paint the rings beforehand, but because I had to boil them, which obviously you guys shouldn't have to do, I couldn't paint them beforehand. So I just painted them while they were on. This was after 1 coat, and then this was another coat. I then went ahead and painted 1 ring white, and this was a ring that I hadn't boiled, and then I used 2 rings that were also not boiled and hot glued everything together. And because these could just fit right on top, they didn't need to go on that fatter part, it all was able to work out. For project number 3, we are going to be making one of my favorite decorative accessories, Casa beads. Basically just wooden beads on a string with tassels on the end. I have one of these in my house, and I thought it would be fun to make one more. So it's super simple, but I feel like it's the perfect kind of minimalist sort of decorative thing to add around the house. It honestly can go on a table, over a vase, there's lots of options for it, so that is why I love it. So let me show you guys how to make one. For supplies, you're going to need some wood beads. I got these on Amazon. They actually came with so much. This is about 55. You're going to need some twine, tape, and scissors. For the tape, I use it to tape the end of my string. It makes it so much easier to put these wooden beads on. And then it's as simple as starting to string your wooden beads on your twine. Once you're done stringing on all the wooden beads, go ahead and tie off the ends. So I like to tie a knot 3 or 4 times to make it really big, to make sure nothing will slip off. So do that on both sides. Obviously, you'll have to cut the string. Then to make the tassels, I like to take a really small book, and you basically just start wrapping around your twine for as thick as you want these tassels to be. So yeah, just keep wrapping till your heart's desire. Then go ahead and cut the string, and you are going to slide this bundle off of your book. Then you're going to take a separate little string that you'll have cut, and loop it through the hole and tie a knot. Again, tie it twice or more, just make sure it's really secure. Once that's done, go to the opposite place of where you tied and you are going to cut it. And then I like to kind of trim the ends to make sure everything is even and looks nice. So you're going to need to make 2 of those, one for either end of this wooden bead string you've got going on, and then tie it around that big knot you made on the ends of the beads. And again, just make sure it's secure. I like to just tie it on there really good. I never want it to just fall off and ruin this whole thing, so I tie it a whole bunch of times. Then I snip off all those little ends and do this on both sides. I decided the tassel was a little longer than I wanted, so I also went ahead and trimmed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, feel free to give this video a thumbs up. As always, you guys can subscribe. If you know somebody else who might enjoy this video, feel free to share it. That helps me out a ton. And if you're not already, again, follow me on Instagram at EmilyFaith22. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.